Hey everyone, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps, and today I'm going to be sharing a card using the super cute Lovely Layers Cottage Dies. So here is what that die looks like. Tons of cute little pieces to make this darling cottage. So I have die cut all of my pieces from colored cardstock. Obviously you could choose your color combinations for how you want your cottage to look. I picked some light blues and kind of a peach color, some darker browns. We've got greens and pinks for the greenery and the flowers. So for the two little bushes that are going to go in front of the cottage, I have two different colors of pinks, and I'm just going to mix the two light and darker pinks on each one of the bushes. Super simple and easy, but really cute. I have to say, I love this die. If it was bigger, I would absolutely make this a shaped cottage card, and I think that would be so darling, but it's so tiny. I don't think it would work, although you probably could make a cute little gift tag out of it. All right, let me get my last little flower on here. So you have your main piece to your barn, not a barn, cottage. You have your roof, you've got a couple arched windows, you've got some rectangular windows, you've got your front door, two chimneys, you have more windows at the top, like dormer windows, super cute windows. So you've got a lot of cute stuff going on. I did wood frame for my two arched windows and for the window that's going to go in the door. But the inside pieces, so like your little diagonal diamond part of your window, is a really dark blue. This is what I did. And then I did the same blue frames for the other three windows that are going to go on the upper part of the house. I'm just going to glue my wood frames, my little ledge on the bottom of this window. And then I will add some white pieces behind all of the windows and the window in the door. Here are the two dormer windows. And I'm pretty sure that I glued on one of the window frames upside down because I did not have my glasses on. And I mean, it's totally fine, but there is a right or a wrong way, and I definitely did it the wrong way. So here's the little background to the arches. So I'm just going to glue that on just with white cardstock, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the windows for the dormer windows. You could obviously do any color that you want. I was just trying to keep it simple with the white since I do have a lot of color going on with the house. So this one I glued on correctly. It's the next one that I glued on upside down. But oh well, what are you going to do, right? Adding a little bit of glue to the outside edge of the little white piece, and so that can adhere, and then you've got these great little windows. And then those just glue to the front of your dormer. So I'm going to pop that into place here. Then we have our door, the white piece, and then our wood frame for this window in the door because the door is that darker blue. So I'm trying to keep the same like color combination, but maybe just changing it up a little bit. And then we have a wood frame that's going to go around the door. And then the steps, I use the same color blue as for the main part of the house. And I'm going to add that right at the bottom. Let me grab that little piece over here. All these little pieces are so darling. I would love to turn this into a Tudor home. I may have to think about how to do that because I think that would be so fun. I would absolutely love to live in a Tudor style home. I just think they're so pretty. Okay, so now that that is adhered, let's get our roof onto the main part of the house. I did a really nice dark brown. And then we have the front of the house where you've got your front door, and I'm going to add the roof line essentially in the dark brown to this as well. And then we can put on the chimney. I die cut from a red cardstock, and then I have these little brown pieces that are going to go kind of like the top. I don't even know what they're called because I don't have a fireplace, but these are nice little detail pieces on the die, and I just did it in a dark brown. And then we have this little piece, and I'll be honest, I don't even know what this is for on top of the cottage. I guess it's just part of the house, but so I made it the same color as the front of the house, that nice little peachy color. So let's put on our chimneys. And then this little piece, whatever this is supposed to be, goes right in the center at the top. And I do want to add a little bit of foam adhesive behind that kind of peach main front door piece of the house. I do want to have that popped up a little bit. I think it looks great. So I'm just using a 1mm foam adhesive for this, keeping it pretty low profile so it doesn't look weird that it's like really popped up. This just gives it a nice little bit of elevation. And then I'm going to put my door down because that's going to line up right directly at the bottom. I need to glue my two little windows, or excuse me, my one window that goes above my door. I forgot to do that one. But this lines up right at the bottom. And then you can place that window up at the top. Super cute. And then we have our arched windows. I sure wish I had an arched window in my house. I would love that. I would love all my windows to be arched and all my doors. Let me put that guy in place there. Darling, look at how this is coming together, and it just gets cuter when we add a lot of the floral details. Then we have our dormer windows. We can put those in place. So cute. And then look at our vining element. Oh my gosh, I love it. I did just plant some beautiful wisteria vines on my patio. I do have an arch. I just put in an arch on my patio. I have some pillars and an arch going off my patio onto another soon-to-be patio, and planted some beautiful vining wisteria. So I was kind of thinking of the wisteria like this. Mine will be purple. I don't know if it comes in other colors, but added a little bit of 1mm foam adhesive for my little bushes here. And then I'm going to start gluing down the flowers, our vining flowers. I do change them around a little bit so that way they're hanging down, because how I was originally gluing them, it just wasn't making sense because I kind of wasn't paying attention fully to the shapes of these. And I'm like, wait, these are supposed to hang down. So I will fix that in just a second. But I love that it goes up and arches over the top part of that house, reaches over to the other window. I think it's so cute. I would imagine you could do this on either side. You know, how it lays obviously would be a little bit different, but I think it would work. So this is where I'm like, no, something needs to be different. Let me hang that one down a little bit, kind of moving those guys. Now this looks better. Perfect, perfect. Look at how cute that is. Okay, so then we need a background, and I am using the antique layering frames, that large piece. I die cut one from a piece of vellum and one from a piece of patterned paper from the Cottage Countryside paper pad. I am going to add some foam adhesive, 2mm, behind my cottage, and I'm going to adhere this to my vellum. Now, I'm adding the vellum to this patterned paper because I want to soften the pattern paper. For me, when I lay a really colorful element like this cottage on top of that pattern paper, it almost feels a little too much. So I just want to blur it a little bit. So I'm going to adhere the vellum directly to the paper, so it's directly on top of it. So I'm hiding my liquid glue behind my adhesive and adhering that down. So when it's directly on top of your pattern paper, you can see the pattern through the vellum. I stamped my sentiment from the So Special stamp set, used the coordinating die to die cut it out. It says "with love and thanks." I'm going to adhere that to the top with some foam adhesive. Now I am going to add a little bit of liquid glue behind that sentiment. I'm going to adhere this to an A2 size card base with another piece of that patterned paper behind it. Now, something I noticed is that those little points on that frame, I felt like that needed to be glued down. So I am going to take a little bit of glue. And when I say the tiniest dot of glue at the tip, I'm going to adhere the vellum to the patterned paper, and you won't even notice this tiny dot because you've got a pattern going on. So the tiniest bit of liquid glue you can hide, but a lot you can't. So let's take a look at this up close. I love that pattern paper behind that vellum. It's soft and pretty, but that Lovely Layers cottage is adorable. I love it so much. I hope you guys love it too. I want to say thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you feel inspired by this project, and I hope you have an amazing day.